You know, I heard recently that there is a special strain of Alzheimer's. It's called Irish Alzheimer's. And you forget everything except the grudge. I am Irish and I understand Irish Alzheimer's. We do not feud. I do not feud with my siblings. I don't feud with my cousins. I think it's because we grew up with families that feuded. My mom had a feud with her younger sister, and that lasted for a good number of years, and then they made up, and then my mom's older sister, who they were very close, had a feud with the younger sister, and then their brother, so you needed a scorecard to figure out all the feuds. So in growing up, I said to my siblings, we really don't need to feud, and we don't. And that's really good. But I did have one feud, and that was with my father. And to understand it, you have to understand my relationship with my father. He and I were the real exact opposite. And when we were growing up, we always had kind of different challenges trying to get to know each other. And my mom was very sensitive about that. So she was always trying to find different things for me and my dad to do. Now, one of the things my dad loved to do on Saturday was to fix things. But he had this mathematical mind, and he took forever fixing things. But what he was doing, I think, was hiding from all of us so he could play with his tools. Well, my mom thought that this would be a bonding moment all the time, and then she would say to me, "Go help your father," which was almost like, I want you now to go to the fourth ring of hell and stay there for the next 3 or 4 hours. But what she didn't know is that my father was saying, geez, I'm in the third row of hell because his kid is here, you know? My dad loved his tools. And he wasn't very good at it, but he loved his tools. And he was the first Tim the Tool Man I ever saw. He had a belt that had his hammer, his screwdriver, and he also had a holster for his slide rule. And for you younger folks, before calculators, they used slide rules. And he would do that to measure the walls and all of that. And he would take forever because he just didn't want to do anything else except his tools. And one day, my mom sent me down to our utility room to help my father. He had his tools there, and I had a name for every one of his tools. That one was, don't touch that. And that one was, keep your hands off that one. And that one was, put that back. So I had names for all these tools. So we're in the utility room, and the spin cycle on the clothes washer stopped. And it had a tub full of water. And he was sitting there, and he said, now, I'll use you in a minute or whatever, and he's looking. And he took the hose and looked at it, and it's, you know, that U shape, and he wanted to see if there was a clog, and there didn't seem to be a clog in there. And then instead of putting the hose back onto the drain pipe, he stuck it in his pants. And I'm just sitting there, and then he started looking at the washer, and that wasn't working, and he was bending over, and I was getting so bored that I finally got up and looked at the washer, and I noticed that the dial was stuck. So I said, hey, Dad, I think I found the problem. And I pushed it in, and it spun. But when it spun, it released the water down his pants. And he's going, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. And I'm going, what's the matter? He's, turn it off, you know. So I went running out of the house and stayed out of there for about 6 hours before he found that funny. But that was the kind of relationship I always had with my father. He said that I would never have ulcers, but I'm a definite carrier. So later on in life, we did have a feud, and I don't want to get into what it was about. I will say that I was absolutely right and he was absolutely wrong. And I'm sure he felt he was absolutely right and I was absolutely wrong. And I was thinking that that is the context of a feud, is that one is absolutely right and one is absolutely wrong, and never the twain shall meet, never the meeting of minds. And I found out you don't really have to acquiesce. Just walk around the corner. Just, this is something we don't discuss. This is, we agree to disagree. And we both did that. And I had a wonderful relationship with my father all the way to the end. So I did forget everything except the grudge, but I found out that the love of my family was a lot more important than the feud. So that's my story, and thank you for listening.